yes, I think higher education helps, and on both sides of the coin. You know, I'll say that we look for college-educated people to join the police department, and I think there's definitely, at times, there's a distinction between the way college-educated people that become police officers look at the world and look at interacting with people. So I would definitely say that it's a plus. You know, when it comes to some incidents on a case-by-case basis, I think you have to look at the facts of those circumstances and whether or not it would enter into keeping certain things from happening or not. And I'm particularly talking about just you know, use of force incidents and things like that. I don't know that it would directly affect a lot of those, but it could, you know, education levels. Because again, if your education overall alters the way you see the world and the way you relate to people, then certainly it could make a difference in even split-second decisions that are made. So that's a kind of a law enforcement perspective, you know.
Okay, well, my perspective was, I believe a lot of times as people of color, we alter the way we act in our everyday lives to not be seen, I guess, as a threat to others, or if you have a negative, you don't want a negative police encounter. A lot of times we teach our children, you know, to grow up faster than they are, to not, you know, act like instead of acting like a child, you know, not to be seen as a menace to society. And I believe education does help, knowing your laws, your rights. That helps you, honestly. But a lot of times I have seen in our community where it hasn't helped, you know, people that have had a negative encounter with the police. There's a lot of educated, you know, people of color that have lost their lives. And a lot of times we feel like, you know, changing the way we act can completely help you, but a lot of times it can't. So I do feel like it does help in a way, knowing your rights, knowing what to do if you do have a negative encounter with the police. So I feel like it's a double-sided coin.
My thoughts on this question, I kind of tend to lean with Brittany, is that I don't think that there is a direct correlation with having a higher education and limiting a negative, I guess, interaction with law enforcement, because it's really more about mentality. I can have all of the education in the world, but if I already have a negative mentality, or I already have a mindset that law enforcement is against me or I am against them, it doesn't matter how much education I have. We need to exercise as a people wisdom, you know, in certain situations, and not just kind of react. We need to be proactive, and I think that's something that the Juneteenth committee has been trying to do with the whole thing with unity. I know for, you know, myself, I like to think, hey, you know, I have a master's degree, you know, my family's educated, my brothers have a master's degree, PhDs. We would think we would know how to handle ourselves. But like she said, knowing sometimes your rights, you may kind of press or push just a little bit, because you know, I can go this far and they can't do this or that. And that gives us this false, I think, sense or perception that we have these rights. Sometimes when there's rights that we've made up that we think that are not factual or law at all. So I think it's important that we not let what we think our education or what we know, I guess, supersede the actual law itself and our rights, and that we need to be proactive in situations and not reactionary, and exercise and use wisdom in every situation that we find ourselves in.
Can I build off something she said? I don't want to interrupt it. Just,
No,
I agree
please.
100% with that, really. And you know, a lot of knowledge is great. A little bit of knowledge can be dangerous.
Absolutely.
So I know that in encounters, especially with college students, and let's say college students of any, you know, race, whatever, but especially sometimes the ones that are in the criminal justice program who think they know pretty much everything about how to react with law enforcement are some of the ones that give us the hardest time. And so I agree 100% what you just said about that. And so I just want to throw it in there.
I agree with everybody. 10 o'clock. I'm over here.